All right. Episode 8. She speaks. She speaks. Thank you all for joining us. It is beautiful outside. We are having a wonderful, wonderful time speaking to you all. Hopefully, you enjoyed our last episode with our baby girls. We really did enjoy it. I learned a lot about myself.
Oh yeah.
Did y'all?
I did.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about myself. There was so much. I would definitely love to do like a part 2
Yeah.
to that
Yeah.
at some point, just to see how the girls are growing and how we're growing together.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, but yes, episode 8, diving in. Rooted and connected. Staying rooted while deeply connected. We are focusing on relationships today. Let me go ahead and introduce my co-host, Miss Angela Woods.
Hey y'all.
Yes, and Miss Ravella Nesbitt.
Yes. Hello. Hello.
Yes, and I am Shantae. I am Shantae. So, how are we feeling today?
Present.
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 Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How are you feeling today?
Calm today. I am feeling calm.
Calm. I love that. I love
How
that.
you feeling?
I am feeling grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling grateful. You know, oftentimes we think about all the things that we have going on, but I also think about the opposite and what that could look like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I am grateful. I am
Mhm.
grateful. So we digging in.
Yes.
Relationship. This might be a little bit different for y'all as far as the She Speaks cast. We're gonna talk a little bit about what being rooted and connected really means. So let's start with our quote. Miss
I just
Angela.
happen to have it right here.
So handy dandy.
Yeah, just right. You know, just on the moment because I knew where she was going. The right people make you feel seen, heard, loved, worthy, and valued.
Say it again. The right
The right people
Yes, Lord.
make you feel seen, heard, loved, worthy, and valued.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Seen, heard, worthy, and valued.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do an overall view, right? Because when we think about relationships, it's more than just the intimate relationship. But when you think about relationships, what comes to mind? Who wants to pick that up first?
Yeah.
Relationships, what comes to mind?
Relationships. So, of course, friendships,
Mhm.
girlfriends, um, relationships in work, relationships in the community, and of course, romantic, relationships that we may have. So I think of like all of them they serve different purposes and different roles in our
Mhm.
lives.
Mhm.
And it's important to know like who is in whatever role that is.
Mhm.
And within those relationships, I mean, you have, friendships and you
Mhm.
have associates and you may just have strict colleagues. So
Mhm.
everybody has a different role. And I also think it's based on what you need at that time too.
Relationships and roles.
Yeah, I think Ravella said it. There are different types of relationships, but I also think there are different levels of
Mhm.
relationships. So, you know, the first type of relationship I think about is what's my relationship with God?
Yeah.
And everything builds from there. And, through that relationship, what are my relationship with my friends? And within those friends, who are truly those people that make me feel loved, valued, seen? And who are those folks that I just associate with?
Right.
And when I think about my relationships with those that I love, those to me are um, rooted in God, right? Because, we have, during the course of our lives, we come in and out of relationships with different people. A lot of times people are there for a season
Yeah.
and a reason. And then there are and then there are relationships that that are soul
Yeah.
tied relationships. So I'm really excited to explore all of that today and why it's important and and where each of those types of relations has its place.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. When I think about relationships, and I think you both covered um, the connection and the different types, I think about the need of relationships. Um, could you be able to really see you without healthy relationships? Um, would you be healthy without relationships? How connected would you be with life and in life without relationships? When I think about relationships, I think about connection and the need of connection, which I think nowadays it's not as I think there's a lot that is put on selective relationships, which is good, but also the fear of relationships because of trust.
Yeah.
When you think about friendships,
Mm-hmm.
not even just friendships, even relationships, intimate relationships, because our past relationships can impact where you are now, and with that you can have secrecy because you don't feel safe and connected or trusting within that. So when I think about relationships, I think about need. I think about the importance of prioritizing them, um, and true connection. So yeah, yeah. Um, so what do you need to feel safe, seen, and supported?
When when you were just talking, it made me think about, next to my relationship with God, the very next most important relationship is the one that I have with myself,
Mm-hmm.
which is also the most difficult relationship because oftentimes we're in relationship with other people without really knowing who we are. So to your point about trust and who you're picking or who you're associating with, or how you see yourself really reflects on who you choose. So if you don't see yourself as worthy, or if you don't see yourself as centered, then you will often mirror that in the relationships you pick. I mean, we've all been there, right? During the course of learning who you are as a person. And that changes over time. That's growth. And you've had those growth relationships. We don't have to stay here and talk about that, but we all had them.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
We've all had them.
Yes.
And that's intimate relationships as well as friendships, as well as work relationships. But I think, unless you are really clear about how you treat yourself and how you are rooted and connected with yourself, and then trust yourself,
Yeah.
to your point,
Yeah.
it's really going to impact who you align yourself with and who you choose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh goodness, there's so many thoughts going through my mind
Yeah.
with what Angela's saying and what you said, Shantae. One of the things is I think about how when you were saying, Angela, we choose relationships based on where we are. Um, yes, and I've had experiences where people have pulled back, and maybe even I've pulled back because I perceive that a person is at a different level than I am. And um, perhaps that is a level like they're doing all of the things, and they're being what we call the boss lady, or just really out there doing things, and I may not have seen myself as worthy to be associated with that person. And I've experienced that as well, like people, I'm like, oh, like we're hanging out, we're friends, and they, may perceive me in a certain way and may not feel as if they are on the same level. So it's some reciprocity in that. And I think we have to be very careful in how we see ourselves in that way, that we're not choosing to be or not to be in a relationship based on how we see ourselves and based on how we see someone else, because we may see them elevated above us, and even the opposite as well. We may see someone that, oh, they haven't done the things that, oh, I think they should be doing.
Mm.
They're not at the place that I am. I
Mhm.
think we got to be really careful on um, seeing ourselves more elevated
Yeah.
than we need to be seeing
Mhm.
ourselves, that we should be seeing ourselves. So there should be some level of humility
Oh,
in that,
Absolutely.
relationship piece as well. And then the other piece I wanted to add on is that, God created us to be in relations. Koinonia is a biblical term that talks about fellowship,
Mm-hmm.
that He's created us to be in fellowship
That's right.
Mhm.
with each other. So it's not intended for us to live this life in isolation.
Yes. Yeah. You know, I think isolation, just like silence, is the primary trick of the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Is
I agree.
isolation
I
and
agree.
silence. Um, when I think about just thinking about what you said, and as well as what you mentioned, Angela, what are your thoughts about being in a relationship and being seen? It's like someone seeing you
Mm.
and being able to see you, and you don't like what they're seeing, but they're telling you the truth.
Mm. Mm.
That right
Mm.
there that's like
Do
a right
you
now
do you
experience of
see what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
That's a whole
yeah.
word
you
there.
could
Yes.
be in you can be in, and then I think there's so many relationships that were ruined
Mm-hmm.
because someone was showing you.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to see it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you said, "You know what? I'm not
Mm-hmm.
doing this no more."
I'm like, right. We run in the
And we
other
run
direction
and we
because of
avoid
that.
because someone, and those are the relationships that I kind of want. Not kind of. Those are relationships that I need in my life.
Mhm.
Like constructive. Um, those that is going to say, Shantae, I hear you there, but let's really
Mm-hmm.
reflect on this. Do you really feel like this is what you need? Or did you have anything to do with that? Or, and I think that is a part of the question as far as what do you need to feel safe? In order for me to feel safe, I need to feel like I'm in a place where whoever is with me and interacting in my relationships are going to be truthful and tell me the truth. Not just about my mood or my attitude, but about how I look. We did a check before we got here. I'm like, I'm all right, y'all all right, we good. And I
Yeah.
think
Mm.
those things where I can show up and I have my sister. When I mean sister, I'm talking biological as well as our sistership here. My partner, girl, not today. That's not it. You ever seen things on social media and you just be like, who let them do that? Like, why?
Yes.
Why? And and it's a true feeling that I have,
Mhm.
to where you need people in your corner that's going to shake you when you need to be
Mm-hmm.
shooken.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a word, shooken?
Today it is.
It is.
Thank you.
It's
Mhm.
gonna be in the
So,
Urban Dictionary.
Right. Today
today
it
is
is.
what it's going to be. You need to be shaken, shooken and shaken. So yeah, feeling safe, seen, and supported. I think another element for me that's important in relationships is understanding. Being I need you to see where I am in the season of my life and be understanding.
Mm-hmm.
um there may be some times where you might not hear from me for a couple months, but when I do hit you up and we get together, it's going to feel like I talked to you yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay for some, especially when you just have a lot going on. And
Mhm.
thank goodness I have relationships like that. And I love
Mm-hmm.
them so much.
Yeah.
Um, anything else y'all want to share about feeling seen, safe, and supported?
Yeah, I want to add a couple of things to that. One of the things I think about, like being seen, safe, and what was the other one?
Supported.
Supported. is when the person sees me and they love me anyway.
Mm.
They see all of this, like, girl, you be tripping sometimes. And but then they say, like, they don't leave me.
Yeah.
They love me in that. They accept me
Yes.
in all of those parts, right? Like, that feels so good. That to me is a safe place to be.
Mhm.
And I've had it. I have it now. And there's been a point in time when I didn't have it.
Yeah.
And it is night and day. And when you are, I'll just say me, when I am in that place where I feel loved, even when I act up, even when I say some crazy stuff,
Yes. Mm.
that is, to me, that is what love really
Mm-hmm.
is about. That I can just show up and be myself. It feels so good. It's so affirming.
Mhm.
In all of that. And I
Yeah.
just so appreciate it.
Oh, that was you.
Mm.
And just kind of trying to put all the pieces that you said together. To me, it goes back to, how do you know and honor yourself? Because if you don't honor and know and give yourself grace, how do you expect someone else to do that?
Mhm.
Because oftentimes we teach people how to treat us, right?
That's the truth.
And I think, feeling safe um, is about, for me, my partner, my husband, my friends giving me grace no matter what I do.
That's right.
And also, to your point, when you said, where people tell you
Mm.
about yourself,
Mhm.
that is a gift. You may not like it, but if somebody loves you enough to say that to you, they're not saying it necessarily. Now, some people are, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about your real folk.
That's right.
To help you, and probably they're saying it to help, to try to help understand what's happening.
Yes.
Right? You guys are therapists. What's happening right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
And if you're open enough to hearing it, then you know you're a really in true relationship.
That's
And
right.
so I feel safe when I'm with someone who can share themselves with me and also mirror me, and I'm learning from them,
Yeah.
and then I'm growing from that learning.
Yeah.
Um, and then, I'm able to ask, is this about me? Is this, or is this about this person? And y'all have heard me say this before. 9 times out of 10, it's really something going on with me. It's something have some. It's something that's happening with me. But if somebody is safe enough to hold space for you,
Yeah.
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 that to me is kind of the epitome of being in great relationship.
That's some good stuff.
Yeah, and they're willing to, and holding space, they're willing to take a step back. Sometimes, there are folks who we're in relationship with, they want to be the center of everything and center of attention. Sometimes we want to be that person that's the center of attention. But in holding space for people, that literally means we have to hold space. And sometimes that
That's
means
right.
Yes.
stepping back and saying, yes, I sort of kind of need this right now. But you know what this person needs and how I can show up for them takes precedence
That's right.
over that.
Yeah.
And so I am going to step in and
Yes.
show up for that person
Yes.
in this very moment. And so there's a level of selflessness that happens with that. So I think that's the beauty of being able to hold space and having people in our lives who can honor that.
I love it. I love it. And that takes a person not being defensive or I say this really lightly, or when it comes down to, I don't even know if I should. I don't like to use the word trigger because it's connected to mental health. But I've heard so many, and I have my thoughts about this, where there are practitioners who would say, if you're around people and they easily trigger you, you should, remove yourself from them. And I'm like, sometimes do we get that term confused? To where it's not that they're triggering you, they might be telling you a little bit about you. And that's the very thing that you need to heal. It's the very thing that you need to move forward. And everything doesn't have to be defensive, right? What happens when you are receiving something from a friend and you are defensive about it?
Well, you know what? Before answering that question, I think about this triggered, being in the mental health field. Oftentimes people will use it as an excuse not to heal.
I didn't want to go deep, because I
I'm
know
just
we're not talking therapy,
saying.
but that's exactly,
But
I was trying to go around it.
yeah, but
Yes.
that's really what it is. Like, oh, you feel I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go over here. I'm
Yes.
gonna do this. But but it's an avoidance tactic.
Yes,
It's
honey.
not that they're trying to do anything with it.
Uh-huh.
They're just like using it as an excuse. And I will say, I don't know if any of you all feel this way too, but there are a lot of mental health terms that people are using now
Yeah.
to
Incorrectly.
avoid or to excuse away, or to many times it's incorrectly used. Well, this
Yeah.
person is, you make me feel triggered. This person is what's the term we always narcissistic. It's
Yes.
so overused. This person is borderline. This person stop.
It's too
I'm just looking at the
much.
camera and just say stop. Just stop.
It is too much.
Focus on healing. Let's focus on healing. Let's focus on showing up for each other.
Yes. Triggering, avoidance. You know what? Also, sometimes I get, I just feel a way about it when individuals project that onto you and make you feel like you're the blame. Does that make sense? So it's like, you know what? You're triggering me, or I don't. I feel like I just need to remove myself, but then make it so that it's a projection of it's your fault that I'm feeling this way, versus actually being able to recognize that it is actually here to help and to be a part of your healing journey. Because I think relationships and friendships, just like we're here today, as far as us becoming with this podcast, our relationships have built us and it's continuing to build us. And the moments that y'all check me, I'll be like, yo, that's right. And I need it, right? Right. We connect with each other and that's what's healthy. So yeah. Yeah. Next question. Conflict is a normal part of relationships. There's not a relationship where there isn't going to be some conflict. How do you repair conflict? What has worked for you, or what are your thoughts about repairing conflict?
That is an area of opportunity for me because I think I'm truly conflict avoidant because I don't like mess. And that's not a clinical term, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And I also, I grew up in a household where my parents never fought in front of me, but I knew that they did. So that was my learned behavior. Like if we're going to talk, if we're going to have a conflict, we're going to have it behind closed doors so that other people can't see it. I think my area of opportunity for growth is to not be afraid of conflict and to do it in a healthy way in the moment. Because if I don't learn how to do that, what I would tend to do is hold it and harbor it. And if there's a conversation that we need to have, I might shut down and just hold it in here and hold it, and then it's coming out. And when it comes out, it might be 3-4 weeks later, and the person I'm with is like, wait, what is that? You remember when we had this conversation like a month ago? I'm there now, right? And so I think recognizing, I go back to my original statement, knowing my relationship with myself and knowing that this is an area of opportunity that I need to continue to grow in and recognize. So that's what I'd say about conflict.
Yeah. I I think for me it varies on the scenario. So I'm gonna give you sort of two different kinds of relationships. So I would say in my romantic relationship, we are learning to deal with conflict, to deal with repair language, um, to, just I'm learning to show up in different ways. And I think part of it is also based on the understanding that we have between each other on how we want to work on those different things. So for me in the repair language and that is sometimes it's like I say something I shouldn't have said. So it's like, that didn't come out right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rewind. Let me restate that. Let me provide some more clarity on what I intended to say. And so it's usually a bit of like rewinding, reconnecting with what my intentions were in that space, and having some time that we both are able to just sit and understand each other um, in that way. So that for me is very intentional. We both are in agreement in the same space in that. And then I think of like friendships, and I'm thinking of one, like in particular that's changed over the years, and I want to address some things. It's a girlfriend friendship, female friendship. I want to address some things that person is avoiding the conversation. They are avoiding like the phone calls, the texts, the time spent together to be able to address the elephants in the room. I'm gonna say elephants because it's several different things. And I have found myself in this place where I don't know if you all have ever heard me say, I don't chase people.
Mm-hmm.
At this big age,
Period.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't
Period.
chase people. I
Yes.
probably did it at a smaller age, a younger age, but at this big age, I don't do it.
Yeah.
And so the dynamic between this person and myself has drastically shifted, but I would like to have the conversation to be able to come to some kind of consensus or agreement or something. And it's not that anybody's done anything, but nobody's injured anybody. It's just the relationship has changed. And I do feel like at some point out of maturity, you talk about that. You don't just sweep it under the rug. But how I see it and how I perceive the other person sees it is very different. So it's showing up differently in that way.
Wow, that's a lot of good stuff. As mentioned, conflict is inevitable. Like it's going to happen. And conflict is not bad. It's growth.
Mm.
Um if you are in a relationship and it's always perfect, I don't know. Because I feel like those that's around me and that I'm in relationship with help me grow. And the moments where I have grown the most is when there was some kind of conflict, because it causes you to see yourself, you know? So as far as conflict for me, I would say see yourself before you see the other person. See what you contributed to this before you start to point fingers at what the other person or how the other person made you feel. I am very reflective in my communication, in that I want I want the ability to be able to reflect on me, because that's where the growth comes in. But in order for me to be able to do that, I need to sit with my discomfort. So in the middle of the conflict, what I will do is, before I say something stupid, I will remove myself and say, I need a minute. I need a minute to sit, right? And I'm not saying I need a minute to sit so I can figure out the cuss words to tell you about how I felt. It's literally, I literally need a minute to sit and reflect on what I did. What did I? Did I do anything? Did I say anything? Was I harsh? Was I, did I misunderstand the person, so that I can come back with a clear heart, a clear mind about what I contributed. And when you do that, you allow the other person to soften up and be able to see themselves. To say, well, you know what, I think in that I could have contributed to that as well when I said this. Right. But if you come with what you honestly have been able to reflect on, then I think it kind of could move forward in a much more constructive way.
I really love that you said that because the taking a moment is everything, right? Because we all respond to conflict in different ways,
Yeah.
externally and internally. And, in my mind, conflict has always been associated with something I did wrong and we're fighting, right? And so if I'm in that something, why are we fighting? Is there something, are you accusing me of something? It automatically you versus the other person, that shuts me down emotionally, and there's no telling how this is going to end. So I love that. I don't know the word for it, that stopping point where you stop your emotions and say, I need to level set. I need to reset for a second. I need to remove myself so that I can have a comprehensive conversation with myself to find out where I am emotionally before I respond to you. I think that's everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll say this, and then we'll close with some closing thoughts. I think especially and I will not say just for women. I think this is for everyone. Um, Emotionality is connected to a story. Emotionality is connected to history. Dysregulation is connected to something. So if you are responding with high emotionality, or you're responding and you feel like you are in a dysregulated state, or you're responding, and when you respond, the other person is like, you just went from 0 to 10 on me. I wasn't expecting that. My thought to you would be, where do you need to heal? Right? Because someone could do someone is like, the response did not require that, you know? So high emotionality, and I think there's so many that do it and say, you know what, because that's me. I'm about it just like that. Don't play with me. That kind of thing. It's not okay. That's what's getting to hold y'all in trouble in a lot of different ways. So just think about the healing that you have to do in your response. And we got the fight, flight, freeze, fawn thing when it comes down to it. But we won't get into it too much now. So in closing, any last thoughts for our listeners before we close episode 8, Rooted and Connected?
I think we started the conversation today about relationships and the importance of relationships, and I'll repeat myself. Honoring yourself and giving grace to yourself helps you give grace and honor to the relationships you choose. So do that carefully, do that intentionally, and do it thoughtfully. And even when you have conflict, you can manage that in a way to make either the relationship better or yourself better or both.
Yeah. Hmm. I would probably, that's so good. I was thinking that what I'm going to add to that. I would probably say that relationships are part of the human experience, and they are part of our growth. So don't isolate yourself.
Yes.
Don't pull away. Be willing to look inward at yourself, but also to look outward. because we can learn from other people. We can learn from other relationships. So don't lose that opportunity to learn from other people because we're so caught up in our own stuff. So use the people that are around you for the betterment of yourself. Yeah. That's what I would say.
I love that. You took it right out my mouth. And I probably won't have too much more to say. Relationships are needed. We are built for them. Reflection question. The mood that you dislike, could it be because you're isolated? The lack of movement that you have within your life, could it be because you're trying to figure it out all by yourself? Your ability or your lack of ability to move forward is because you're trying to do it by yourself. Lean in on what God gave us, and He gave us each other. Choose wisely, but it's a necessity to choose.
Absolutely.
Necessity to
Agree.
choose. Episode 8 is a wrap.
Yes.
Thank you all for taking the time to listen to us. Please share, like, subscribe. We are here for you. Continue to comment. Until next time, we are out.
We are. Bye. Bye.